Good afternoon, guys. We are now here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. We are Squirmifi. This is part 2 of 59 U.S. national parks. So this is the beautiful facility of the Golfa Gorge, and it is the campground of the Hot Spring National Park. As we did in the last park, we gave tips on what you should watch out for or things that you need to know before you go there. So we are doing this exact same thing here in Hot Springs National Park, just in case you plan to visit here in the future. So here are the tips.
Of all the 59 national parks, this is the smallest. It's only about 6,000 acres. So you really only need maybe 3-4 days to see everything. We've been here since Sunday and today's Thursday. We probably only needed 3 days to get some hiking in, check out the bathhouses. But it depends on you. So you don't need a long time, like any more than a week. I would say a few days, 3-4 days tops, depending on what you want to do.
Also, being the smallest national park, the park ranger that we spoke to, she said that the total hiking trails is only 27 miles long. I mean, if you put everything together, it's 27 miles long. I mean, I think it's still pretty good size considering it is the smallest national park. So if you want to do all the trails, then you only have 27 miles to walk. But like what Erwin is saying, actually, if you are in a super hurry, if you say is one full day enough, I would say it is doable. Of course, you won't be able to do everything, but pretty much your main thing that you need to see is the bathhouse row. Of course, you cannot miss that. And maybe just do a couple of trails, and then that would be your full day. Telling you this is if you only have one day. But of course, you can stay in a place for as long as a month or two if you really want to get to know the place. But we're just saying that it is a small national park, so a day or two or even 3 would be good. Like for us, you know, it's not like we have a deadline, so we are staying here for 3 days.
Because this national park is actually situated within the town of Hot Springs, Arkansas. That's different than in other national parks, which is usually way out there. This one is right next to the town, so you have access to typical city stuff. If you need to get gas or groceries or anything like that, it's all within a close driving distance. Actually, the main drag where the bathhouse row is, that is within the city limits, so the park actually encases part of the city. So that's different. Usually parks are way out away from big cities, so that's a little bit different for this park.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear actually behind us. This is the campground of the national park. It's called Golfa Gorge, but cars are like passing by behind us. But the river is like right here by the amphitheater. So we went to Walmart. We put gas almost every day. We were in Starbucks today. So you're not very far from civilization.
So here at Hot Springs National Park, the visitor center is actually in one of the bathhouses on Bathhouse Row. It's in the Fordyce bathhouse. We went there a couple days ago, and they actually have tours of that particular bathhouse, the Fordyce bathhouse. I think the tour was somewhere around an hour. It's a very nice tour. You can walk through, see the interesting therapeutic techniques they used to use with the hot springs and the bathhouses. So we'd highly suggest taking that tour.
We did 3 trails while we are here in Hot Springs National Park.
There's 2 sections of the park. There's the North Mountain, and then there's the West Mountain. The 3 trails we did were on the North Mountain. They were the Goat Rock Trail, the Golfa Gorge Trail, and the Hot Springs Mountain Trail, which is a loop. Like we may have mentioned a little earlier, all the trails are fairly short. The ones we did were 1.1 and 1.7. I think the Golfa Gorge is something like 0.9, but a lot of them are 0.2, 0.3. The only one long trail is the Sunset Trail, which I think is something like 13 miles if you were to do the whole thing. They're fairly easy. It gets a little steep. The Golfa Gorge Trail got a little steep. If you happen to be staying at the Golfa Gorge campground, they're all within walking distance. There's a trailhead right here. And once you get up the trail, they're all connected, so you can branch off to other trails.
If you plan to stay here in Golfa Gorge, there is actually a trail here that goes all the way up on the mountain right here behind us, and then you can take that down. So it'll probably take you a couple of hours both ways, up and down. It's not very long at all, maybe 2.5 hours if you take your time, but that is a pretty nice trail. It's called the Golfa Gorge Trail. If you are visiting the National Park Visitor Center, they can give you a map, and then the color of the trails on the map, what they did, which is pretty good, is it coordinates with you'll see this blue dots on the trees, like blue paints. They painted it. And so if you are, let's say, in a hot spring loop, I think that was a blue color or something.
Yeah, it was like a light blue.
Yeah, so that's light blue on the trail on the map, and so you will see that there are blues.
Some of the trees have been spray painted with a colored dot.
Yeah, so if you, while you're walking along the trail, as Erwin mentioned, the trails are connected. So if you all of a sudden you were following blue and then you see pink, that means you probably have veered off to another trail. I mean, it's not confusing at all. It's very easy. Trail colors are just there to help you out.
The main attraction of this national park is the hot springs. I actually went over it in another video, but the spring water is filled with, it's mineral water. So it is drinkable. They do have pamphlets here saying it is drinkable, and what a lot of people do, and we did this morning, is we filled a couple of empty water bottles with, there's a couple of free springs around the city. You can fill as much water as you want. The national park has certified that it is drinkable and safe. So I don't think you have to worry about that. There are a few hot fountains that you can refill water bottles, and there's a couple of cold ones. There are more hot ones than cold ones because the hot ones are direct from the source. So those are more popular. The cold ones, the cold springs, they were treated, so not as popular. Everyone wants the hot spring water, even though it comes out warm. It's not treated. All the minerals are there. So we've seen people come with truckloads of empty bottles, basically. I guess they're local. They take them home and they refrigerate them and they drink them. It's mineral water. It's like
bottled at source.
Yeah, it's full of different minerals. So, and it's known, at least the bathhouses, they use the spring water for medicinal purposes or therapeutic purposes. So a lot of people, and this may or may not be true, they drink this water thinking it has healing properties.
Personally, we didn't do the spa, but we had a friend who drove here a couple of days ago. We are both from Houston, and she wanted to meet with us, and she did the spa. She went to the Qua Paw Spa, and she only paid $20 to access the pool. And she said there are 3 pools. It gets hotter and hotter as you transfer to a different pool. But you know, the spas, you could spend hundreds of dollars on that because there are different kinds of packages that you can do. They have a couples package with champagne and, you know, chocolates or whatever. But if you just want the simple one, the cheapest one that we've seen is $20, and that's just basically accessing the pool. So there's also a lot of information online, so you could research that. So from $20 all the way to hundreds of dollars that you can spend on the spa.
If you guys don't want to drink the water, if you guys are still having doubts about how safe it is to drink, there is a brewery. It's called Superior Bathhouse Brewery. It used to be a bathhouse. It's been converted to a brewery. Not only do they make their own beer, which you can try using the spring water, they also make root beer floats, that sort of thing, using the spring water. We tried that, I think it was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It's actually in another video. But yeah, they use the spring water to make their own root beer, make their own draft beers.
So I guess that's the next best thing that you could do if you're doubting drinking the water just like that. You can try the root beer. Okay, a lot of you are probably wondering, how's the cell phone signal? We have T-Mobile. And here in the Gulf Gorge, nah. But I mean, 2-3 miles down the road, once we start going inside the hot spring itself, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. But here in the Gulf Gorge, which is only a weird 3 miles away or so, there's no signal here. My friend, like what I mentioned a while ago, she was visiting, she had Verizon, and it seemed like she had signal, but it was still slow. So I think it's the location.
Yeah, we're right next to a big hill. I don't know if that plays any part of this, but
yeah,
once you get to the main drag where the Bathhouse Row is, it's fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places in town that have free Wi-Fi, so.
Like what I said, we were in Starbucks a while ago for 4 hours, so Wi-Fi is no problem if you really need to access the internet.
A tip for any of you staying at the Gulf Gorge campground, if you're bringing your own motorhome RV, the registration, it's fairly typical. It's an honor system. There's a machine in the registration building. You put in how many, the space number, of course. You have to check which space is available first, and then you input the number of days that you want to stay. Mm-hmm. Once you have that information, the space number and number of days, it calculates how much you owe. You pay using a credit card, cash, I think, and then it prints out a little receipt mm-hmm. that you take to your campsite mm-hmm. and put on I guess a clipboard, like a wooden board. You clip it there so the ranger can see that you're paid for.
Yeah. So you don't have to have RV. Actually, we saw people with tents here. I think the price is the same. We basically paid $30 a night. Unless you have a senior discount or the access pass, that gives you 50% discount. So it's gonna be $15 per night. But for us, we paid $30, and I believe it's the same price whether you have just a car and you're just pitching a tent, or you have a full hookup, you need a full hookup for your RV, it's the same price. Here in the Gulf Gorge, I would say there's really no bad sites because it's pretty open and it's small enough. I mean that you have a view of the whole thing, but if there is a row here in the Gulf Gorge that is basically your backyard is the river, like you're right there.
If there's anything bad, there's a street right next to the campground, so the closer you are to the street, the more you can hear the traffic going out. Mm-hmm. But you can pretty much hear it throughout the whole campground.
Actually, we were up in the mountain last night and we could hear the guy mowing from down here.
But yeah, the sound travels pretty good here.
So I guess the quality of the campsite is the same for everything. There's no bad.
Depends on how close you want to be to the stream and the hiking trails. That's the only thing. So you're probably wondering what kind of bathroom facilities they have here. One thing to note, they do not have showers. They just have your basic bathroom, mm-hmm. toilet, sink, no showers. So that is definitely something to make note of. Especially
for those people who are just pitching a tent or, traveling just using your car and you're banking on showers, like you don't have your own RV. That might be a factor for you whether you're staying here in Gulf Gorge or not. There are no showers, but they do have running water and they do have flushable toilets. But aside from that, no showers here. So hopefully guys, this helps you plan your trip to the Hot Springs National Park. Like what we said, we are on park number 2 of 59, and hopefully you follow our adventure to the 57 more that it's about to happen. So subscribe to our channel and follow us in this adventure.